Get ready to quit the build.
Here we go!
The QTB crew is rounding up all the gaming news and hot topics of the week with a little extra something. And here are your hosts, Bruno and Nick.
What it do? Welcome to the QTB podcast. We're so glad you could join us. My name is Bruno, and with me as always is my childhood friend and co-host Nick. I like to call him Squirts Macintosh. How you doing, bud?
It's Macintosh. That's a your throwback, kind of a retro name, right? Pre-Apple.
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes I just think whenever I think of a Squirts Macintosh, I think of a guy who knows what's up, who's going to give me the insights, and not only give me the insights, but give me the laughs as too.
Yeah.
You have been killing it on the Reddit game lately. I just want to get that out of the way right now.
Yeah.
The man has been on Reddit just sharing the memes, with just showing people what Quit the Build is all about. His username is quitthebuild-podcast. So if you want to follow him on Reddit and see all these amazing posts, I would advise it. You were on the front page of Reddit earlier this week.
Yep. And
you got today's post, which was of the virtual boy. It's, throwback for all of our 90s kids out there. We've already talked about this on a previous podcast, but you did a virtual boy meme. Yeah. And that got 7,000 upvotes. Is that the most you've ever gotten?
I mean, yeah, because prior to kind of working with QTB, I had just kind of been a lurker on Reddit. So I guess all the years of just kind of studying the ways of the meme have finally paid off. Because, I mean, you can't be doing reposts in there, with most of those subreddits. You got to be providing some original content. And so I said, you know what? I'm all about that 90s tech. So here I go. Yep. And so, I put one about the virtual boy, how... And to be fair, a lot of people are saying, oh, you're trying to say that the virtual boy is the first truly mobile console. What about the Game Boy and the Game Gear? Checkmate. Yes, obviously.
Checkmate. I
just wanted an excuse to show pictures of people duct taping the virtual boy to their face. And I will say that... that
in and of itself is enough to get me to want to see that picture of somebody taping a 90s virtual reality headset to their face. This is obviously going to be on quitthebuild.com, so you can go to the website and
Meme
see
of the week.
this. But
yep. But
really,
I mean, and I will say that I have tried in the past. At one point, because you could actually take the virtual boy off of like that bipod stand. Yeah. And of course, the first thing I was going to try to do, just based on everything that I've seen in the movies up to that point, was try and actually mount it onto my head. And so I didn't do duct tape, but I did get like some fitness sweatbands that we had for some reason.
Oh, nice.
And taped those to the virtual boy and tried to put it on. I'm going to go ahead and tell you it didn't quite work out because that thing is a little bit front heavy. So my neck immediately warned me that was not going to end well. So the high quality play was to lie down on the bed facing up and then just have the virtual boy smushed onto your face like that. Yeah. And then there you go. You're transported to the magical world of, as I said in the Reddit post, synth music and grid-based 3D.
Yeah, and blinding red lights, because we all know that we couldn't just have a normal screen. This was the first days of virtual reality here, people. Give us a break, okay? We had to use red. And for some reason, terrible red lines and a backlight that just made you go, what am I looking at?
Yeah. I hope this person is kidding. Someone did comment saying, like, I've been colorblind my whole life. I can't see red and green. But for like the 10 minutes that I played a virtual boy at Kmart back in the 90s, I was briefly able to see the color red. I don't know what's going on there. But we might want to get some high level doctors and scientists on that, because we might have the cure for color blindness. Just stare at this for a couple hours.
This just in, breaking news, we have found the cure for blindness through Nintendo's 1990s virtual reality headset known as the Virtual Boy.
It literally burns the color red into your retina. Fantastic. What could go wrong?
It really does. Yeah, really, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, man, I can't wait to share some of the sweet 90s nostalgic gaming merch that we have and some of the other gaming merch that we have with our listeners, because we're doing a giveaway. Nick, did I tell you about this?
I think you did, but you better tell me again.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. We're going to be doing a giveaway every month to the people that leave us and give us a nice little rating on Apple Podcasts. So if you want to be entered, all you have to do is go over to Apple Podcasts, give us a rating, leave us a little review, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. We'll be doing a drawing every month. You can check out some of the merch on pierceunlimited.com, which is actually today's sponsor. Today's podcast was sponsored in part by Pierce Unlimited. For marketing media that works and bespoke design to power your business, visit pierceunlimited.com. So we have got some awesome stuff in store for today's show and for our listeners. I mean, we have been doing amazing things on the website. We've got a new community page. Yeah. We're updating it with awesome blogs. I mean, there's always something new going on. So be sure to check out the website if you haven't already. And Nick, let's get started. What do we have on today's episode list? What's going on?
Well, later on in the show, we're going to be talking about Ubisoft's apparent well, and of course, as we said in the last episode, I'm going to stick with Ubisoft. You do Ubisoft. Yep. I do my thing. Potato. Let's call the whole thing off. Ubisoft is apparently really starting to funnel some manpower and resources into their upcoming open world Star Wars game that we are definitely going to be talking about a little later on in the show. And also Fortnite, of course, getting their latest and greatest crossover in the form of Tron, which I know you've already partaken in, but we'll be talking about that. I mean, it's, some things it's just shut up and take my money, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but we had some very interesting news that just broke yesterday about the upcoming Borderlands movie. Now, prior to this news that came through, we already knew that the Borderlands movie that is coming up is going to be a star-studded cast, including Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, even Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be in the mix there. Yeah, so this is going to be, kind of an A-list Hollywood star-studded affair. And, of course, the news that came through is that Claptrap, of course, the lovable comedy robot that really doesn't really care much for the actual well-being of anybody in his immediate vicinity, is going to be voiced by Jack Black. How about that?
Oh, I'm excited for that because Jack has been doing some amazing things on his YouTube page, Jablinski Games. Have you seen his YouTube page yet?
Jablinski?
Jablinski.
I love
Jablinski.
it. No.
J-A Blinsky. I'm not going to try and spell that.
Yeah.
But he's been doing, so I think it was, I don't know if it was 2 years ago or last year. I think it was 2 years ago. He decided he was going to start doing video game content, and he kept saying he was going to do I'm going to do video game content. It's going to be about video games. And he never put out a video game video. Yeah. He just kept saying he was going to do it.
Happen.
And then it's going to happen. Yeah. And just put out other content around, and then finally put out a video game video after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does all different types of things. He kind of just shows behind the scenes of stuff that he's doing for movies, some of his favorite spots in LA before the shutdown where he could go and play pinball or some classic arcade games. So he's actually a really avid gamer. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that he would be interested in doing a video game movie. And let's be honest, I think Jack Black is hilarious and definitely want to hear his voice in a game. He was great in Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
So, they made 3 of those movies. So please, how many movies have you made, listener who doesn't agree with me?
It's surprising. There has been a decent amount. I posted that on the gaming news subreddit, and there was kind of a mixed response to it. I guess some people, and I think the biggest reason why some people might be a little salty about that casting is that they really wanted to see the actual voice actor. Who is actually Jim Ferranda, not the original voice actor, though. The guy who originally played him, his name was David Eddings, and he was with Gearbox until about 2017. Ultimately, he just didn't get hired. Something happened with negotiations for Borderlands 3, and he moved on to Rooster Teeth Productions. And the guy named Jim Ferranda took over in Borderlands 3 as Claptrap, which is why the voice sounds a little bit different. But in any case, I can see why, okay, any kind of actual live-action character on the screen, you want to have some A-list, firepower, because it's not just about fan service. You got to make enough money to appeal to the masses and want to bring people in. And so I get that part. It would have been cool to see one of the original voice actors of Claptrap actually voice Claptrap. But I got to tell you, thinking about Jack Black's style and just making that voice a little more digitized and high-pitched in that Claptrap style, I think he is going to nail it. I am all about a Jack Trap clap black. Clap Jack Black Trap. No, Jack Black Claptrap. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I did see what you did there. Try saying that 5 times fast, or just that sequence in general. I think you're right. Like, I think that's what they're trying to do. Claptrap is like the sassy BB-8 that Borderlands has. Yeah. He's your lovable pal, comes along for the ride, and isn't afraid to say things that might not be a little kosher with everyone. And that's what makes it fun. And that's Jack Black. Yeah. Like, he's played a woman on Jumanji. He's played a panda. What can't the man? He's going to play a robot. The man deserves an Oscar for versatility alone right there. I mean, so yeah, I'm excited. I want to see more A-list celebrities get involved with gaming. And honestly, when you think about a gaming movie like Borderlands that kind of has this comedic undertone to it, then Kevin Hart really does come to mind. I think he's going to be a great addition to that movie. I mean, okay, so let's get this out of the way. What's the one movie that you want to see a video game turned into a movie? Like, what's the one video game that you'd be like, this is what I want to see it turned into a movie? And follow-up question, who would you cast in that role?
Oh, that's tough, and one that I'm not sure that I've ever really thought through all the way. I mean, just going based off of my influences, I think what my number one answer is going to be, and that's a proper Mega Man movie, because we've gotten some actually decent cartoons over the years in the form of that one Super Fighting Robot. And I actually had the DVDs for that one. But there was also...
Was that the theme song?
I mean, that was
Super
part of it.
Fighting Robot.
Mega Man. And they just repeated that for like 30 seconds. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, that's the best way. See, people they think that that's a cop-out. But I'm telling you, it's the short things like that's what makes a great jingle and easy to remember. Like, by Menon. Like, who doesn't want to... Who doesn't want to... Hot Pockets. Exactly. Just the jingle.
Yeah.
We need to have a whole episode of just jingles.
Jingles.
Anyway.
Yeah. And to be fair, they don't just repeat it over and over again, Bruno. There is a key change in there at some point.
Oh, see, that's I'm still working on that as a music producer, is the key change out there. So kudos to them for that. And speaking of just like great music in general, did you see that remix of American Boy that I sent of the Chug Jug with you?
The Chug Jug. I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. Brad thought it was hilarious.
Oh man, we're gonna leave that on the website as well. Okay. We'll just have just different stuff that we talk about in this episode, because man, that Chug Jug with You slaps. And I tell you, I've never listened to a song by a 12-year-old whose voice was literally changing throughout the song.
He went down one register there mid-song. Yeah,
he did.
Wow. But yeah, man. So yeah, it'd have to be Mega Man for me. And as far as who I would cast, That's a really tough question. I can't think of anyone. What's Finn doing from Stranger Things? What's Finn up to?
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, that's the guy.
He would be a good. That would be a really interesting, very, very deep pool for an actor too.
Yeah.
To like be like the kid from Stranger Things. Yeah, get his butt in here as Mega Man. That's actually not really bad because you kind of want somebody a little nerdy, but not too nerdy, like Michael Cera. Like you don't,
Right.
we don't want, Michael Cera up there like, give me the power ups.
Give me the power. Are you dissing Michael Cera and Scott Pilgrim versus the World? Because that movie is sacred.
It really did.
Yeah.
I really did. I totally forgot that he was in a video game. But see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He didn't play a video game character. He played himself.
Yeah, exactly.
In that movie.
Right.
So,
you were doing more of like an Arrested Development. Yeah. George Michael Jr.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. George Michael. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just the fact that they named that kid George Michael.
Yeah.
There's so many subtle jokes in Arrested Development. I feel like it paved the way for other modern hits like The Office and Schitt's Creek and just all these like familial comedies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it.
Masters of the callback.
Yes, I agree. And so, I mean, a Mega Man movie would be great. And I think that like, we haven't really gone down that path. I think everyone kind of thinks, when they think of a video game movie, they think of the big blockbusters like God of War or Halo or even a Call of Duty movie, which I'm sure, I don't know how you'd make a Call of Duty movie
just pick a war. Other words, it's a war movie. Yeah.
You'd have to do like Black Ops or something. Right. Like it'd have to be totally different in order
warfare,
for it
which no one liked. So not many people liked. So it wouldn't go over well.
Yeah, like Tron was really big, so I would totally dig a Mega Man movie. And I mean, obviously for me, I think a Halo movie would be fantastic. And I don't know that I have anybody in mind for who Master Chief should be because he wears a helmet the entire time. So I would say just keep the same voice actor that you have, or if you need to bring in, clout like we're talking about, then it doesn't really. I'm neither here nor there as long as it's not like Gilbert Gottfried or something like that. Whoa, my
Cortana. I can't even do a Gilbert Gottfried. No way.
Cortana! Oh my gosh. That's how you lose listeners right away. Just mention Gilbert Gottfried and
there they go.
There they go.
And they're gone. Yeah.
We're back and we're not doing Gilbert Gottfried impressions anymore. So thank you for rejoining us or skipping forward 15 seconds.
Right. Yeah, that button's available on most podcast services. They just hit the 30-second fast forward button.
And skip over that.
Yeah. I think this is just going to have to be kind of an expectation of, that a lot of these Hollywood movies, when they're casting for these parts that aren't necessarily live action but are voiced, that Hollywood is tending to go with the A-list celebrity for the extra star power that they bring, instead of just going for the original voice actor, right? Like Sonic the Hedgehog, that movie, right? We didn't get Sonic's voice actor, who actually recently announced he is retiring from voicing Sonic. He's done it for the last decade or so. But instead we got, what was his name? The guy from Parks and Rec? Yeah, Ben Schwartz, as and it works very well. And speaking of which, we might as well just say, because I think you agree with me on this, that Sonic 2 teaser, I mean, that Emerald Hill theme playing there, for that, I mean, I'm ready. That's going to be amazing.
Oh, and we knew Tails was coming.
Of course.
We knew there were hints and whatnot at the Easter eggs, and I believe if you stayed at the last bit, it even mentioned something about him or had his voice or something like that at the very end of the movie. But to know that that's on the horizon, and then think to yourself, well, if they've got Tails, then maybe they'll have Knuckles in there, or and so now I'm speculating, like, are they just going to introduce Tails, or is Knuckles going to be a part of the entire thing as well?
I mean, if you want a Sonic 3, that Sonic 3 and Knuckles, that's where he's supposed to show up, so...
But I mean, there's like so many Sonic characters now, like in the canon, that not even the normal person, like the regular person, doesn't know. Like, I would say Amy is teetering on, like, maybe most people don't know her, some people might. And Amy is like Sonic's pink girlfriend, right? Like,
I don't know if she's unofficial like girlfriend.
Unofficial girlfriend, similar to Mario and Peach, but and then there's like some giant sloth looking. What is he? He's not a sloth. Is he a bunny? What is?
Talking about Big the Cat.
That's what he is. Yeah. There you go.
Oh man, he'll probably get a cameo in one of the movies. People love to hate Big the Cat for a lot of reasons. That he's one of the problems that the Sonic franchise kind of has these days is there are too many characters. And so, the games that try and, like, make them all playable or just include as many as possible, you really don't need to go much further than maybe bringing in, like, Knuckles and Amy. But Big the Cat, I mean, Big the Cat would be good for, like, comedic relief. I could see a lot going right there.
But as long as you don't voice him with someone like James Corden, like just leave him out of it. We don't need him in there. It's okay. Just let him have his talk show and
stay on CBS. You're good. We're good.
Yep, we're good. We're good. No, I kind of want to see Jaleel White come back and reprise his role as Sonic. For those of you who don't know, Jaleel White played Urkel in Family Matters in the 90s, and Urkel was a black nerdy kid giving black nerds everywhere hope that you could be smart and be awesome like Urkel. And you didn't have to be ashamed of that. And
still get the girl.
Still get the girl. And he voiced Sonic for the 90s animated series, which was pretty awesome to have him, do Sonic Says every episode, where he like came on. He was like, don't smoke and don't do all these other things or whatever. Like, don't play with matches.
That's no good.
He was like one of those guys. Just like generic stuff that kids shouldn't do that parents should teach their kids.
I miss
Sonic
that era.
Was teaching us.
I miss that era of cartoons that would always have those educational PSAs on the back end. Can we bring those back? Right. We're not getting those anymore. Even if it's just like poking fun at itself. I was all about it. Captain Planet, G.I. Joe. And Sonic the Hedgehog,
pork chop sandwiches. I mean, anytime I think of G.I. Joe and those PSAs, I just think of pork chop sandwiches and him running, saving those kids. Get out of here! What are you doing?
I have to think of Don Cheadle as Captain Planet. With those YouTube movies where, at the very end, he does the PSA of like, don't forget to, sort your recyclables and turn off your faucet when you're not doing it. And it zooms in, the music stops, or I'll turn you into an effing tree. It's like, okay, Don, I'm sorry.
And what was that Heart Kid's power? What was his power? Compassion? That's what he was? He was a Care Bear? Like, we had a...
It barely got used. And like the whole thing was supposed to be like he could sense people was what Heart was supposed to be. There was a couple times, I'm going to nerd out on you. There was a limited number of times where he was able to form like a defensive barrier with his heart power. Maybe with like the power of friendship, Right. But aside from that,
This is just a note for all our listeners out there that you really can't form an invisible barrier of friendship. It doesn't work. But you can form a physical barrier of friendship
or an emotional
with your
barrier.
Actual friends.
Yeah,
that too. Yeah. But be sure to maintain social distancing. So 6 feet barrier.
At all
6
times.
feet barrier.
At all times. Get it back. 2 arms length. Double mask.
2 arms
Triple
length.
mask. That's right. If you can breathe, you've not put enough masks on. That's your PSA from the kids at QTB.
And Captain Planet.
That's right.
Oh man, yeah. Maybe if they had before you move on, maybe if they had kept Captain Planet on the air, we wouldn't be having the problems that we're having right now. But
You
they
might
were
be
like,
onto something.
nah,
Yeah.
nah, we're good.
You know, yeah, we might. Global warming might not be a problem because saving our planet is the thing to do.
And an alternate, you see, that's what happened. Captain Planet just like stepped down from being a hero and went on to be Al Gore.
That's true. Yeah.
And
talk about Man Bear Pig and the dangers of being super serial.
Yeah, these are the things they don't teach us in history. We just get the same regurgitated stuff over. You are failing the people education system.
Right.
You are failing
the system.
The youth. The youth.
Right. Well, you know, the other big thing that that all those Saturday morning cartoons were great for were those awesome commercial breaks. Wait a second, commercial breaks?
You know, Nick, it seems like we're really in the golden age of podcasting. These days, you can find a quality podcast for just about any topic you can think of.
That's right, Bruno. And a big reason for that is the convenience and versatility of Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast just like ours.
For sure. Anchor has built-in tools that let you record and edit your podcast from your computer or even your phone. And they even distribute your podcast for you automatically to Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more.
And not only is it 100% free with no strings attached, but you can start making money with your podcasts from day one. Literally everything you need for a successful podcast is all waiting for you with Anchor.
Just download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we're back. It's 3:50 in the AM somewhere, and we have some interesting news from Ubisoft. All I saw was open world Star Wars game, and I was like, sign me up.
Yes,
I'm in.
Absolutely.
What do you got for me, Nick?
Well, you know, we've been talking a lot about kind of the new Star Wars games that have been on the horizon and the issues that the Star Wars franchise has had with games like Battlefront. And I think this is very promising news in that Ubisoft has plans to partner with Lucasfilm in order to create a new open world Star Wars game. Now, it's worth noting we're probably multiple years away from having anything even close to a finalized game. But, you know, and hey, that's fine. If there's anything that the cyberpunks of the world have taught us is you've gotta take your time. You
gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. But the CEO of Ubisoft has promised that there's going to be a groundbreaking Star Wars game on the way. Obviously, a reason to be skeptical of that kind of claim, but you know, here's why I'm excited about it, and why I thought it'd be a good conversation to have. In that, you know, they're already going to be investing a lot of money into it. Right now, EA has earned over $3 billion from its Star Wars games, just right out of the gate. You know, the games that they have released.
$3 billion with a B. Oh yeah,
with a B.
With a B.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, you know, Ubisoft recently has kind of stepped in to kind of take over and create those Star Wars games, although EA does say they're going to be making games in the future. I think I can speak on behalf of gamers everywhere when I say, EA, we're good. Go ahead and just pass that along. I mean, you know, look, yeah, we've had some decent hits like Jedi Fallen Order, you know, that was good in its own right, but especially seeing the bungling of Battlefront 2 and knowing that if it wasn't for the massive player outcry for the way that it was monetized, it would have that status quo would have continued, right? You know, they only stopped because they were pressured to do so. But here's why I'm excited, in that they have announced that Ubisoft is going to be using some people from the Division 1 and 2 would be at the helm of this, and not only people from that studio, but they're also going to be using what's called the Snowdrop engine. This is what they used in the Division 2. And I'll tell you, as someone that has played a lot of the Division 1 and 2, the Snowdrop engine is fantastic. It is able to render, you know, a beautiful scenery in a very short amount of time, minimal load screens, of course, with the solid state tech of next-gen hardware. That's hardly a concern at all. It makes it very easy for crossplay to be implemented, and just overall, it leads to some very smooth and fun gameplay. I'm very much a fan of this engine. And knowing that they are going to be using it to create a Star Wars experience, if done correctly, this could be kind of the big Star Wars game of a generation. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh no, I think you're 100% right. I mean, if anybody knows how to do an open world game, it's definitely Ubisoft. They've proven time and time again that they are very adept at making these open world game experiences. We've got Watch Dogs, The Division, Assassin's Creed. So those 3 IPs right there are all open world games. So it's very much in their wheelhouse to produce an open world Star Wars game like this. And I would hope that it would be something groundbreaking. We're in a position now with open world games that give players so much freedom, and the idea of RPG style Jedi or and let's not just limit it to Jedi, but we've seen through previous Star Wars games that we could have a robust bounty hunter situation like that Nintendo 64 game. What was it called? Shadows of Empire. Okay. Shadows of the Empire. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. That's what it was called. Michael, Michael, our old friend from elementary school, mentioned Shadows of the Empire the other day to me. And I was like, yes, I remembered that game. And that was... it was a third-person shooter game, and you were essentially like this bounty hunter type guy. And there weren't really Jedis in it. It was just kind of you going around shooting and stuff. And it was awesome. I loved the game. And for the record, it also had the hardest cheat code input system ever.
Wow.
Ever.
I don't remember that part.
It utilized this was for the N64, and we've already talked about how you really needed a third arm or hand to utilize the full controller. Yeah. So what they did was they required you to press down all of the buttons, essentially like all of the buttons, and then you had to move the joystick to the left, to the right, to the left, and then all the way to the right. So it couldn't be like all the way to the left, all the way to the right, all the way to the left, and then all the way to the right. It had to be like 75% to the left. So you literally had to like hold your both your hands over all of the buttons and then like pull the controller up to your mouth and like use your chin or your nose to like go to the left and then go to the right and then go to the left and then all the way to the right again. And then boom, you got these cheat codes for the game that were absolutely ridiculous. That would just send you to the top of every RPG class out there. It would be that you'd be the top boy. You had infinite ammo, health, everything.
Midichlorians in the bloodstream.
So I definitely think there is a place for an open world Star Wars game. I just hope that they try to do something like Cyberpunk, where you've got different classes of characters that have a different storyline or a different progression. Like maybe I want to be a Jedi in one course and go through getting a Kyber crystal and making my own lightsaber, or maybe I want to be a bounty hunter like the Mandalorian and get Beskar and go on adventures like that. Like that would be an amazing groundbreaking game. Or you could even go the corporate route, right? You could go the corporate route and be like a stormtrooper and be like, yep, we're going to be a stormtrooper for the Empire. Right. And so it's all there. It's all there. We've paved the way for you, Ubisoft. Don't mess it up. What do you think? I mean,
you're absolutely right. And I remember in that N64 title, one of the bosses you had to fight, I want to say it was an AT-ST that was in like a hangar, and like,
yes, it was.
It's iconic moments like that where you run into signature, ships and creatures and mechs like that, or the AT-AT that you're like, oh my goodness, I have to fight this like with a blaster. The same thing happened in Jedi Fallen Order. There's a couple points in the game where you have to start learning how to fight those things. Now, I mean, you're a Jedi, so you've got a couple tricks to kind of take them down. But that first moment where you're in combat with one, it's such a It's such a cool moment that it's crazy to me that we've come this far into 2021. And aside from those two games for the N64 and Shadows of the Empire and Jedi Fallen Order, I can't think of a whole lot of other experiences, and I'm sure they're out there, but obviously they're not, well enough into the mainstream that I can think of them as a casual Star Wars fan, that provide that wow factor of just the larger than life nature of Star Wars. Battlefront definitely tried to get there, but I think we've already seen enough of that open world style, big, team versus team combat. I think that we need to look at Knights of the Old Republic as the gold standard, because those games 1 and 2, if you asked any Star Wars fan or just a gamer that is a fan of the Star Wars games what their favorite game was, I think you would have a strong number of people, or anyone that has played Knights of the Old Republic 1 or 2, especially the first, will probably say one of those two games. Because it had
either that or the Star Wars Pod Racer.
Oh, of course, right? Like you were talking about. Like I'm not kidding you. As a fan of DDR, if I could only have one arcade cabinet in my home, I think it might be Star Wars Pod Racer. That's how much I loved it.
I sunk so many quarters into that. I lost so many quarters into that because it was amazing. And you're right. We've talked about this before on the podcast. It was an early episode, but the 1-to-1 scale pod that you got to sit in, and then the levers that you pulled back and forth to turn left or right.
Button.
It just it just made you feel like you were in the racer. The only thing that would make it better is if it actually turned and moved like tilted left and right as you were in the pod. That would be the ultimate experience. But you're right. Knights of the Old Republic is definitely going to be number one in terms of how many people put that for their favorite Star Wars game or just favorite game in general. Fans have been crying for a remake of that game or a remaster of the game. And Battlefront 2 was, Battlefront was trying to get there, but not quite. Like, they were like, maybe a little bit, but
and there's been very few attempts to really get back to that style of really being able to play a game and a story your way, kind of like what we were talking about with Fallout and the unique ways that you could progress through that game using, both just kind of, talking your way through. And in Knights of the Old Republic, you could do that. You could kind of go like the forced persuasion route and just talk people into doing what you wanted, or kind of take an evil route or a good route, and that would affect the outcome. Those are people. Yeah, you're right. They're games that people look very fondly at. And I think the problem that the Star Wars franchise has is that over the years, there's been so many takes across so many genres of people trying to make it work within certain groupings. Like, okay, well, we need to take an MMO approach to Star Wars. And of course, the original MMO, Star Wars Galaxies, before the big changes, was considered to be one of the greatest MMOs of all time, just because of the way that it allowed you to really immerse yourself into your character, and how in that MMO, one of the things that the people loved and hated about it was, in order to become a Jedi, you had to seriously work. You couldn't just roll a Jedi. Like, you had to go into the game and there were all these like hidden things that you had to do, and it would take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. And then when you finally unlocked Jedi, it was a permadeath situation where if one person that was like a Sith Lord or a bounty hunter or whatever it was could take you down, you're gone. Like, you're no longer a Jedi. I think it would just delete your character outright. So you had to make a serious decision. And it was one that, I'm not saying it was a perfect game. I didn't get to play it myself, but I had a lot of friends that did and talked about it. And they eventually kind of homogenized it, and they called it like the new game experience, where they just made it like World of Warcraft. You can roll a Jedi from day one, and it's just kind of an on-rails experience. Star Wars, when it has gotten that right, of really trying to use its vast lore and expansive universe to its advantage, you get some really magical moments in gaming. But you also have the stinkers. There have been more than enough games that were were less than optimal, and especially like in the Nintendo and Super Nintendo days when maybe it's licensed games really didn't have much of an incentive to be good, which carried over.
We're just gonna put a put a little coating on this turd here and hand it to everyone and say it's a Star Wars game.
Yeah, I mean you're not too far off. But it's a very exciting time, I think, for people that are fans of the Star Wars series, both in terms of the upcoming shows that we know we're going to be getting on Disney Plus. Obviously, The Mandalorian is just that show just by itself has just been a shot in the arm for people that maybe weren't a huge fan of the new trilogy and really wanted to see, more of that style of kind of gritty Star Wars. Yeah, I think there's good things ahead.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, the fact that Lucasfilm is coming into the game and they're going to take the brunt of everything and say, well, we're gonna be the creative director on this and we're going to lead everything. You guys can develop, but we're gonna have a tighter handle on how things go down. I think that's going to make for better consistency, like we talked about in the previous podcast, of the quality of Star Wars games that we get, so we don't get the turds out there with along with some of the gems that we don't have to sift through the cat box of Star Wars games to find the true gem that is something like Jedi Fallen Order or Shadows of the Empire, or even what was that one for PlayStation called? It was Jedi Power Battles.
There you go.
Star Wars Jedi Power. Do you remember that?
That was a fighter, right?
Kind of. It was kind of a fighter, but you could go around. It was like a co-op game that you got to go through. So okay. It wasn't necessarily a side scroller, but it was over top, and you basically got to choose your Star Wars character and then take them through the levels. And it was kind of the first real attempt, I feel, at an interesting Star Wars game, and it was really good. I liked it. It was one of the main reasons I actually wanted to get a PlayStation 1 was because of that game. It was that I felt like it was that awesome of a game, and it really was. I played the heck out of it, really did. And so I definitely think there's a place for another good Star Wars game, and I'm glad that Disney and Lucasfilm and all of them are having faith in trying stuff out.
Yeah.
Yes, they're not all going to be bangers. We're not all going to get the ending of Rogue One, for every movie that makes you have the goosebumps and stuff. But there are instances out there where you can still have that feeling and can still experience such a great game as long as you don't give up. And I feel that a lot of times in the past, if this were the 90s, they would have said, nah, we don't want to tarnish the Star Wars name anymore, and let's just not do anything. Yeah. And then, so that's the other side of the coin. I know a lot of people complain about it, but if this were the 90s, we'd be lucky if we got half of what we're getting now. So the fact that we're getting so much is really a testament to the brand that Star Wars has become and the faith that Disney has into it to say, we bought this for a reason.
Yeah.
We're not just going to stick it on the shelf, guys.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of promise about what's to come in the future. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'm sure we'll get some more details about what their vision is. But from what I'm seeing so far in terms of, who they've got working on it and the engine that's going to be powering it, I'm already pretty excited to stay on top of that and see what happens next. So yeah, well, our last article for today, and this is one that you already know because like I said at the beginning, you done already bought it, which is that Fortnite has announced their next crossover for this season. Of course, 0 Point, where they are reaching all the way across the multiverse and just kind of picking what they say heroes left and right. Really, it's just whoever's willing to hand the money for a licensing deal, if we're being honest. And that licensing deal comes in the form of Tron.
Yeah, buddy, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, and we've been talking about Disney.
Yeah.
So this is still part of Disney's catalog of things that they own. So it's totally apropos to have Tron enter the arena, so to speak, because they've already had the big deal with Star Wars first, and then an entire season with Marvel. So it makes sense. Now I'm trying to think to myself, what other IPs do Disney own that might make a crossover into Fortnite?
Right.
And I mean, this is where I lose all my money, because I mean, Nick, it's one thing to like put out a cool skin. It's another thing to put out a licensed skin in a game. I've already got it. Right. You know what I mean? I had to go on and buy it. The light cycle glider is amazing. It opens up into the light cycle, and then it's got the like stream of light barrier or whatever. I don't know what it's called, because I'm not into the entire like
the trail
details of the trail that comes out of it. So it's got that. It's got the identity disc on the back that you can actually use as a pickaxe. So I'm down. I'm totally for it. It's similar to the Ghostbusters crossover that they had, where they took generic Fortnite skins and gave them Ghostbuster outfits, and they're doing the same for this. So it's kind of some of the generic, although there are a few new characters, but the generic Fortnite characters in Tron outfits, and it's awesome. I am really happy that they've been doing all of these crossovers of licensed content. What do you think? Is there something that, I mean, obviously there's been things that have come across that you've been like, gotta get it, but is there something that you think maybe you want to see? Like, I feel like I've gotten everything. The only two things left on my list, Nick, and if they do it, it's game over. Okay. It's game over for me. The two ones left: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I want all 4 turtles. I want them all, get them all on there. And then Power Rangers.
Oh, buddy, you're speaking my language.
I am done. It's over. Game over. Yeah. I take my money.
I mean,
what about you?
Either of those not only would be amazing, and I agree that those are must-haves, but they're more than possible, right? You have the recent crossover between Smite and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where the skins became available. So they are definitely, the company behind them, they're definitely willing to strike that deal. So, it's just a matter of time, even if it's not a 0 Point related crossover, since this is, that this is not just crossovers have been happening before 0 Point and will most likely continue after. Like I said, money talks. It's just who they can get to pick up the phone. And Power Rangers, definitely. Saban, the company behind that, they're all about the money bucks. There's no doubt in my mind, and we've already seen what was that mecha bear robot thing? That was kind of like a Megazord, right? Like the Der Burger Zord and all the different stores that came together. So completely realistic to have something like that. And of course, I got to have an emote with the iconic Power Rangers jingle theme song. But I mean, here's how I struggle with it. I just like being along for the ride, because with Super Smash Brothers, which I've always been a fan of that series, it's very easy to eliminate what's not going to be in the game. And the reason why I say that is because Sakurai, the guy that is the head of the company that produces Smash Brothers, he has made very clear that the only way that a fighter is going to be considered for Super Smash Brothers is if their origin is in video games. So you can't have, some people say, Goku for Smash. Goku literally would not qualify for Smash. Yes, he's been in video games, but he was originally in an anime before he was put into a video game. So that right there, he would never be considered. And he's been consistent with all the new fighters. They always follow that train of thought, as it's supposed to be this smash up of, video game characters, going at it with each other. So you might see like Crash or Spyro, but you're never going to see something like Tron. Now, Tron has shown up before in big crossovers, both Kingdom Hearts, I want to say 2 and 3. And I think that's the fun of it, is just the wild speculation where, when you see people on Reddit or on any kind of online forum talking about who they want to see next or who it could be, and kind of giving their tinfoil hat theories on how they think they've confirmed who the next person's going to be. Your imagination is basically your limit at this point. Fortnite is a big enough franchise, a big enough game that everyone knows it. Even people that don't play it know what Fortnite is. It's kind of reached that point in culture. And I don't think that there's a series or show or franchise or whatever you can think of that wouldn't want that easy cash grab of being able to put their thing in Fortnite. I mean, it's amazing how this company can literally print money just by creating a simple skin. Back in the season 1 days of Fortnite, where they would just make some new skin that was like, it's a ferryman skin or sparkly blue guy skin, and like people were like, give me that, like I want it.
Yep.
And especially with these franchises, that when they are making these deals, there's that limited window to actually buy the skin. Boy, the FOMO is strong, Bruno. The FOMO is strong because you legitimately could be looking at months or years without, just like in that blog post, of course, on quitthebuild.com/blog about the rarest Fortnite licensed skins that you did a write-up on. You just don't know when these things are coming back. And so if there's a series that you're attached to and you're somebody that casually plays Fortnite, you kind of have to keep an eye on the game just to make sure something doesn't squeak by that you're like, I should have gotten that, right?
Yeah, for sure. And especially when it comes to licensing deals. So I know now that that's probably something that they write into the contracts when they approach these licensed skins. They probably have a clause that says we will release these, once and then probably again at a later time. And so they'll have an indefinite license in terms to when they can do it. But it might not be indefinite. It might be a total of so many times. Like they can have it on in the item shop for a total of 90 days. And so that might be part of the contract. We just don't know. But I do know that we haven't seen the 2 skins that I referenced in that article, which were the Star-Lord outfit and the Black Widow outfit. They're specifically called that in Fortnite, whereas every other Marvel character is called the actual character that they are. So it's not called like Wolverine outfit or anything like, or Batman outfit. It's just called Batman and Wolverine. And for Star-Lord and for the original Black Widow, they are considered outfits. And I think that when they license these, they license them for like a one-time use, and I don't think we'll ever see them again.
Right.
I think we'll see a new iteration of Star-Lord when the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the new one, comes out.
Yeah.
We'll definitely see a new Star-Lord out, or a Star-Lord skin in Fortnite, but it's not going to be the one that they originally came out with. It's called Star-Lord outfit. So I think that those 2 skins will undoubtedly become the rarest skins in Fortnite, aside from some of the season 1 skins that you got for, I think, competing in season 1, and some of the variations that you got for tiering up in certain seasons of Fortnite. But I mean, you're right. So aside from FOMO, the idea of having this expansive universe that we can pull from absolutely any genre that we want, I mean, the possibilities are endless, and I can't wait to see a Ninja Turtle skin set in there, or a Power Rangers skin set. I hope they do that. Yeah. They're already coming out with my favorite superhero, which is the Flash. So the Flash is
saw
going to be
that,
there. He's
yeah.
going to be coming in like a couple days, ready for my birthday. He's going to be here. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yep.
I just wish I could move as fast as the Flash in the game.
That's going to be disappointing,
So-
right? Yeah. You know, it's just
Slowest Flash ever.
right. Yeah, he's taking a day off. But,
Right.
All right, I'm going to blow your mind here, Bruno. Here is the QTB Nick pick for the next upcoming crossover. If this happens, I will throw my money at Epic so fast you will not believe, and I think you'll agree. The Office. Here's what I want. And I've thought this through.
The Office.
Here are the skins I want. I want a Dwight Schrute skin with an alternate Recyclops skin.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
That's
That's a must.
I want a Jim Halpert skin with an Asian Jim alternate skin.
Ooh, I was going to say, do you want Asian Jim or do you want three-hole punch Jim? Because that's also a very good Jim.
That's a quality Jim. Yeah. I'm going to need Michael Scott, obviously, with a Prison Mike alternate skin.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. I'm going to need a dance emote where you do the Scarn.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Pickaxe has got to be a Dundee.
It's got to be a Dundee.
Yeah.
Back bling for Michael Scott.
Yes.
Broken plasma TV.
Ooh, that's a good one. I was going to go with George Foreman Grill. Yeah.
George Foreman Grill.
Which is going to require additional licensing, so it'll probably be the broken. Yeah. Good luck paying that on your $0 a year salary plus benefits, babe.
Savage.
Amazing.
Savage.
And of course, you got to have Pam, I feel God in this Chili's Beasley.
Feel God in this Chili's
Yeah.
Beasley. Nice.
Amazing.
We have to have so what would Pam's alternate outfit be then?
I liked her olive oil costume.
Oh, yeah, she did do that.
Yeah.
Or, honestly, it could be the one where she just let down her hair. I just feel like just her letting down her hair is her alternate skin.
Amazing.
Or maybe it's the one where if she needs, if we're going to do something for her, she needs a special emote, walking over the coals emote, running over the coals emote.
Yeah.
Love that. So you're right. Nothing will top an Office crossover to Fortnite. That is the end all be all. We've reached peak Fortnite. There's nowhere left to go.
Like it's I mean, what I'm saying is like just you look at all the different shows and series that have crossed over with Fortnite. Why not?
That's
true. Like these guys have the clout that that seems like a ridiculous pipe dream. But if any game is going to get that licensing and get those skins, it's gonna be Fortnite. So I mean,
definitely.
Who knows? Who knows? Time will tell.
Man, well, that seems like a good place for us to end the conversation because, I mean, I just need to sit on the fact that now instead of wanting a Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers crossover, I also want The Office.
That's right.
Prison Mike, definitely number one pick for me on that.
Yeah.
If you're listening out there, anyone... make it happen. Just
Please.
start spamming them and saying, please give us The Office Fortnite skins because you're right. That sounds amazing. I want that.
I've got money. You want it. Let's make this happen.
Oh man, well, it has been such a great episode. I've enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for listening and joining us. We do appreciate it. Every time I see one of these numbers go up that we've got a new listener or we get a new review or someone else has visited the website, it really just makes this all worth it. Like it's so much fun and I enjoy it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Nick, for always bringing the amazing insights.
I mean, I'm happy to be here, man. It's, it takes two to make a thing go right, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, and I mean, I don't know the rest of the lyrics of that song because I think she just says the same thing. It takes two to make it out of sight. So
correct. That's about all you're going to get. Yeah.
We are out of sight because this is a podcast and you're listening to us. So how about that segue?
How about that segue?
Oh, man. Do you have anything left to add?
No, just definitely check out the new community page on our website, quitthebuild.com. That's a great place to kind of get up to speed. You can kind of see our Facebook feed, and of course check out some of the cool merch that we now have available. Maybe check out the QTB t-shirts now available on Amazon.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah,
get you
some
one.
Quality premium t-shirts of the logo on there. And if you guys have an idea for any t-shirts, you can always send us a message right through the website. There's a contact page, so feel free to send us a message if you have any feedback or just want to say hey.
I thought there was a second part to that. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, that's it. Just if you want to say hey.
You were throwing to me.
Yep,
fantastic.
I was throwing to you.
Well, as we always say, until next time, for Bruno, I'm Nick.
And for Nick, I'm Bruno. Peace out. What it do?